Yo, what is up, guys? It's the Nightwing at Way of Life Esports coming at you guys with another League of Legends video here today. This is going to be the LEC 2021 Spring Split Week 8 Thoughts and Opinions. The LEC 2021 Spring Split regular season is over. We are going to be moving into playoffs for the LEC 2021 Spring Split next week, and this was an interesting week. G2 started running it down more than usual. SK Gaming locked playoffs. Fnatic were looking all out of sorts, and as always, I'm joined here by T-Root. What's up, man? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's nice to be on a show that gets restarted more often than games in the LEC.
Okay, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. But, okay.
Hey.
Dude, watching some of the games get, like, restarted between, like, LCS and LEC just this past season so far for spring, I'm just sitting here like, holy mother of God. Could we please go back to live games? Like, I genuinely miss live games, actually. But, I believe, with the coronavirus situation, getting a lot more tamed in some states, at least in the United States, actually. Some of the numbers are going red. We should be going back to live events, hopefully. I'm gonna say by Worlds point, when we're in that territory, because Worlds for 2021 will be in China, they said again, so
Yeah.
hopefully we'll have a crowd, because if you guys currently watch the LPL 2021 Spring Split, they actually have, for some of the games, played in front of crowds, which is a good step in the right direction, actually. So, dude, where do we even start?
If Oh, well, I was gonna just on that point really quick. I don't remember if it was announced that there will be fans in the arena, but LEC playoffs will be on stage. Like, all the players will be there on stage, on the same server,
Except probably
like it's a
no
regular
fans.
stage game. I just don't know if fans will be present.
I get what you mean. So just like how the LCK had it before people started, contracting coronavirus before they went fully online. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I feel like games are better quality on stage, even though, like, certain regions are worse than others. That's just me personally. Because even when the LCK, before they went fully online back in, like, LCK 2020 Spring Split, toward the very end, the game quality was still really good. The players were still tryharding their asses off. They just felt bad that, when they made amazing plays, there wasn't, like, a crowd or, but it happens. We have to take, tiny steps forward, and that's personally fine. So, I know I have a lot of Fnatic fans on the channel, and they're going to be like, hey, Nightwing, please roast these guys. And don't worry, I definitely will have my fill to say with them. But we should probably break the news that I think you wanted to talk about it really quickly. Let me actually bring up the official article, because Sam Matthews tweeted about it on his Twitter page. So before we actually flame them for their League of Legends gameplay, we should probably offer context. And context nowadays is pretty much not needed.
It's somewhat important.
I heard it's pretty good. If you have context, I heard it's pretty good. So let me bring up the article right here. No, I don't want a Geico, gaming subscription. I actually rather just slit my damn throat. All right, so Fnatic quarantines LEC players, staff after Hylissang coach Tolkki contract COVID-19. Hylissang said he played through the weekend while sick with the virus. Keep that in mind when you guys are flaming these guys online. This week in particular, I saw a lot of that, and it's like, okay, let's be honest here. If he's sick, he's gonna play like dog shit. I've been sick, sometimes playing League, and it's the actual worst feeling in the world. You straight up cannot concentrate. You actually can't concentrate. Like, man, my throat hurts. Dude, if you guys didn't know, I actually had, COVID-19 before, earlier this year. Oh, it was the worst feeling ever. Like, I was at work, dude, and then something just struck into my heart. I was like, what the fuck is this? Am I turning into a fucking, like, Super Saiyan? No, it just turns out I was just getting really sick. It's just literally all it is. Fnatic has quarantined its League of Legends team and some staff after both support Hylissang and assistant coach Tolkki tested positive for COVID-19 last week. The player and coach confirmed to .esports. So, it's unfortunate I got infected and couldn't show up for the games that might have mattered, Hylissang told .esports, confirming his contraction of the virus. Happy that we went 2-0 the previous week, even though I was feeling bad. Hope I get better for the playoffs. Tolkki confirmed he tested positive for COVID-19 on Tuesday, March 9th, and said that he began quarantining once he became symptomatic. The coach has been working from home for about 10 days, he said. Fnatic announced the precautions it's taking today after 2 unnamed members in its Berlin facility contracted the coronavirus. Fnatic said that following the news, it quarantined anyone who was exposed to both of them, and that it worked with Riot Games throughout the weekend to compete in the final week of the LEC 2021 Spring Split, which took place from March 12th to the 14th. All right, so on receiving the result, our first priority was to set up our team safely and in a way which ensured we could complete our fixtures, Fnatic said in a statement on Twitter. Now the weekend has completed and we can look forward to a playoff place. We're able to update the fans with the facts. We are aiming to return to our Berlin facility as soon as we can. We're confident that all our members will be fully recovered and ready for our amazing playoffs runs. All right, pretty much just, Fnatic saying, they're doing what they can, obviously. So before we provide the context of their games, keep in mind, Hillsang was feeling like complete dog shit. He was probably just wanting to get the games honestly to be over. But, the only thing that I would rag on Fnatic for, personally, is that I would have just suggested they play a sub. That's something you probably should be doing. If he's feeling sick like that, you probably should get a sub. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. Like, he probably feels really bad. He can't concentrate, and they don't have a sub. Come on, let's be honest here. Like, they were going to make playoffs anyways. The caliber of competition that they probably had to face was really not there. They had to win, 1 or 2 games to be secured in, and they won them. A game, yeah, and they won that already. So I personally think what they should have did is they should have just got the sub player. They have a Fnatic Rising squad, right? Why not just have the support play?
The issue with Fnatic Rising, though, is I'm pretty sure the team is based in the UK, not in Berlin.
Oh my god.
Because Fnatic Rising, for those of you who don't know the EU Masters thing, it's every team has to provide an academy roster. However, when they formed the EU Masters, they said only 2 academy teams can be in each regional league. Otherwise, all the academy teams would try to play in the German league because that's where all the LCS teams are based, or LEC teams are based. So, Fnatic and Misfits academy teams, they're in the United Kingdom League. Like, Vitality is in the French League. The Mad Lions are in the Spanish League. I'm pretty sure the 2 teams that are in the German League are, the SK roster and Schalke's academy team. So, I mean, yeah, they could have tried to fly in their academy sub, but that would be getting his travel visa in to come from the United Kingdom to Germany in a week.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that, they at least try to do everything they can. But, I mean, Fnatic are locked into playoffs. This is their lowest ranking playoff spot they've had since 2016 EULCS summer when they had Kikis and Spirit on the roster, something like that. They've made playoffs every single split. That's just incredible. And so is G2. So, just, keeping all the teams up there as well. So the standings for the LEC 2021 Spring Split regular season concludes: Team Vitality 10th place, 5-13; Astralis 9th place, 6-12; XL missing out on playoffs yet again at 7-11. Not the gas station. That one's
sad.
That's sad, actually, because they actually beat G2. They beat the team they weren't supposed to beat. Oh my god, I felt so sad for them.
G2 and Rogue.
Imagine beating G2 and Rogue and still not making playoffs. They're just cursed. They're just straight up cursed. Misfits Gaming, 8-10. I didn't think they deserved playoffs anyways. They actually just played straight up dog shit most of the split. Outside of the last few weeks that they played decent. They played decent in their last few games. I didn't really like how the casters kept saying that they were getting better. No, they were playing majorly decent, average on a good day. They weren't that good, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they were just being overly nice to Deficio because he was there that week. I was like, come on, guys. You guys are straight up capping. I've seen Euphoria. I've seen your guys' fucking way you talk about Misfits. They suck. They're bad. They really are trash. But, hey, it is what it is. I just calls it like I sees it. Wait, is that the saying? that a saying, actually?
Basically. No, I just want to put this out here. I feel kind of bad because I semi-roasted a person on Twitter about Misfits. It was when the LEC put out a tweet that's like, all right, here's our final standings. This person commented on Twitter, it's like, it's pretty sad how Misfits, if they won one game, they would have been in fourth, but since they lost one game, they ended up in like seventh. I think the LEC's playoff system is broken, and I'm like, no, that's kind of how losses work, man. That's math, They lost, so they go down. But that also shows just how close the LEC is.
Imagine math. Imagine using that.
I know. Imagine using math.
SK Gaming, 6th place, 8-10. Fnatic, 5th place at 9-9, as well as Schalke No Fear at 9-9. Because of tiebreakers and other game win-loss ratios for Fnatic, they are slotted into 5th place. Schalke are in 4th place. Mad Lions finished the split at 3rd at 10-8. Rogue finished the split at 2nd place with 14-4. And G2 Esports, as always, the boys finishing the split at the top at 14-4. So, wow, this was a interesting split. But specifically just talking about this week, okay. Where do I even start? So the teams I could honestly care less about are just Team Vitality and Astralis. I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. I just don't really want to see this type of roster. Malik says over here, like, doing his best fucking Feet the Homeless impression with how he's Azir ulting. Like, Crown Shot is good. I think you keep him. I think Shigenda is not the worst top laner. I think he's still a rookie. That's fine.
Skeens rookie syndrome.
Skeens is he's just not impactful, not doing much. I like him. Labrov is just not good.
He's okay.
Yeah, like the whole roster just needs a complete revamp, I think they do, because like if you look at some of their games, the quality of it's not that bad. They won what? I think a few games, didn't they, this week actually? Let me see.
One.
They won one, yeah. Like,
but they won what might be one of the more important games of the week.
They beat Schalke.
They beat Misfits.
You're right. Yeah, they beat Misfits.
Them beating Misfits is what kept Misfits out of playoffs and locked Fnatic and SK.
That's whew. So I guess they had one job and they actually did it.
But Vitality played spoiler for the Fnatic fans and it worked. So
Astralis, I think they went
3-0 this week.
They did. That's crazy. They had a pretty good week, actually.
Shout out to White Knight, who has the only pentakill of the whole split on fucking Gnar.
I actually think White Knight has, drastically improved since, he was on, Unicorns of Love all the way back in, man, when he was on Unicorns of Love with Exile and Cold and Samix. Woo!
2018, man.
2018, man. What a year to be alive. Then you also had XL. They did the impossible. XL, oh my god. They defeated G2 and they defeated Rogue, but they lost to Schalke in their last game. That sucks. They defeated the Titans.
In classic XL fashion, they fall just short of playoffs.
They're just cursed. They might actually just be cursed because, looking at their game against G2, Patrick played great. Torre, I mean, they might want to look into getting a new support. That Torre is actually just running it the whole week.
I disagree. I think that was just a characteristically bad game, but I think Torre and Jeskla, not Jeskla, Patrick, is, definitely top half bot lanes. They're not like top 3, top 4, but potentially 5 or 6.
What did you think about Dan? I know a lot of people were criticizing him as well.
I'm kind of hot and cold on Dan. I think he had some pretty questionable moves in the beginning. He was kind of one of the first people to break out the Udyr in Europe. But I mean, he found his mark. Kind of like being a stable.
What happened? Oh, guys, he cut out on me. Well, okay, might as well continue the conversation. So, with XL, I personally think that, it's one of those things where you lose so many games early on, your destiny is out of your own hands, so you end up, having to obviously bank on the fact that you have to, win these really important matches, which they did against, G2 and Rogue. And you also have to kind of worry about, well, since you lost so many games early on, then you're also worrying about, hey, can we make playoffs? So I think what Excel really need to do is Excel really, really need to focus on the first half of the split, because if they can, clutch it out and win against teams like G2 and Rogue, it's really just the first half, of their split that really did screw them over, but that's just me personally. T will probably end up coming back at some point, but I'll just continue this. Whoop. He's gone. He'll be back. All right. I'm pretty sure T's back. Hello?
Oh. Hey, sorry. No clue what the hell happened there.
That's just America Internet. That's it.
Yeah, sorry.
You're fine, dude. No worries. So, what are your parting thoughts on Misfits, actually?
I mean, I think they're a pretty good team. I think their main pieces of VTO, Razor, they're good. The bot lane, I think, finally started to show up a little bit this week. Kabe and Vander are, acting like the experienced veterans they are. I just think here it kind of continued to be the weak point.
Yeah, his Gnar gameplay. When was he on Renekton this week? Actually, I feel like he was on Renekton. I know he was on Gnar for sure.
Possibly.
I just don't really
there were
feel
too many pick bans.
I thought they had a backup top laner that Deficio was talking about early on, and they never used that guy at all. Honestly, Misfits and XL feel the same to me. I just didn't really think honestly think Misfits were that good. They didn't really show anything. A lot of the mistakes, a lot of the execution, I saw what they were trying to do, and then it would just completely fail. So that's what I'm trying to look at towards Misfits, going into the LEC 2021 summer split, is trying to do what you envision you're doing, but executing on it perfectly, or executing in a way that gets you an advantage. Because lots of times I was watching this split so far, they would do something they were all on the same page on, and they just play it horribly. I'm like, you can't play this worse than how they've played this. But let's look at SK Gaming. So looking at SK Gaming, they definitely have surprised me. I think Treats is definitely in the MVP conversation. So when we have this type of video next week, we'll be doing our LEC 2021 Spring Split All Pro teams, Most Improved Player, MVP. Treats is definitely in the MVP conversation, because he's been the absolute best player on SK Gaming. I think that Tinks, he also was also pretty solid for SK Gaming as well. I think they have a pretty solid team overall. Gen.G knows his place in the team. He's not going to be a carry top laner, so they just give him Gangplank and Aatrox and shit. That's fine. It's okay.
You say give him Aatrox and then say he's not the carry. Okay.
I was trying to glance over that. I thought you wouldn't. I thought you weren't going to catch on to that.
Nope. I caught you. I'm calling you on your bullshit.
He was playing pretty well. No, Aatrox, honestly, they stick him on that. He's pretty solid, but Gangplank and just give him just a solid, stable top laner. There's nothing, you don't really try to carry through Gen.G. You don't really need that. Treats and who's their AD carry? Jezu,
yeah.
See, when you talk, because later on we're gonna have to, a week from now, predict the playoff matches. If you guys didn't know, Fnatic and SK Gaming, well, they're in the bracket where you can't lose one, because if you lose one, then you're out. 5th and 6th
then you're
place.
Done for the split.
Yeah. It's. Are you nervous, Fnatic facing SK?
No.
That's so confident.
I mean, straight up, I'm just gonna be frank here. SK is one of the few teams that Fnatic just straight 2-0'd this season.
Also true.
One of those games was the, I think now infamous Bwipo Riven game where he went
okay, yeah, I remember that.
12-0-5. That was up against SK, where for whatever reason they stuck Jezu on Vladimir, just kind of randomly. But yeah, so I'm confident that Fnatic will beat SK. It's just a matter of winning essentially the losers gauntlet at that point. Which we can get to when we get into the playoff picture later. Because for those of you who don't know, the LEC's playoff is kind of an opposite way of how NA does their playoffs. But yeah, we can get into that later. But yeah, I have no worries that Fnatic could lose to SK in a best of 5.
The next team to talk about actually is Fnatic, because they went 9-9 overall to end off the LEC 2021 Spring Split. Pretty disappointing for me, honestly, because I had them at second place. I had Rogue at third, so interchangeable right there. I thought with these caliber of players, they could have played a lot better, even barring this week. There were just so many weeks where it's just, how do you, like, is there a word for being so over aggressive that it's just being an actual detriment towards your team? You know what I mean?
Chinese.
I know, but the issue here, when the LPL does it, they're not like just running games constantly. I don't know if this is a general team dynamic. I don't know who is the main captain of the team to really decide all of these things, to the point where you have a defined way of looking at the game, because the players have been very vocal about this through all their past interviews and League of Legends experiences through all their many different teams. The fact that they were struggling to actually find a playstyle is interesting. Now, the one positive note for this split is Upset. I think really played well, despite everybody honestly thinking that he wasn't going to be able to fill Reckless's shoes. I even had said, you had said as well, Upset is really good. People were just actually sniffing the best crack they've ever probably had in their life, because I thought, and I still think this, Upset is a better ADC than Reckless, except the teams he's been on really hasn't ever showcased that. And people are going to be like, well, why do you think that? The issue here is, ADC's a position where you could literally be like 7-0, doesn't really matter. It's just that an ADC gets set up by his team, and we saw that during the split. He played absolutely out of his mind. I think Reckless played good too. Don't get me wrong, but I think, as I said before, Upset fits Hylissang better. Now, does Hylissang fit the rest of Fnatic better outside of, Upset? That's to be debatable. Looking at Nisqy, I think Nisqy was fine overall. A lot of people were kind of just memeing, like just being straight up dick to him on Twitter. It's like, honestly, he's providing a lot of stability in the mid lane.
I do wish I would have seen a little more of him and Selfmade, kind of, jungle mid synergy, would have been a little bit nice, but I feel like they have the rest of the year to kind of build upon that. But yeah, Nisqy was relatively stable. I don't think he ever really got gapped once this year, which is nice.
So this is the thing, is that going into 2021 LEC summer, the issue here is, I think Selfmade is so hard carry focused that I don't think that style will ever really work out with Nisqy. Unless Nisqy completely buys into that style, next split, I think they'll have a better record. If they don't, got this split. Now, what about drafting?
Then I'm just gonna ask you this question: what do you think the main differences between Selfmade and like Blabber are? Because I feel like they both have that same gotta be the carry mindset. Would you disagree?
No, actually I don't. But the issue here is Blabber realized there were certain games he could play through Nisqy. I don't specifically think that Selfmade thinks he can play through Nisqy as a viable way to win. Like, Blabber thought also there were certain games where he could play through Nisqy as a viable way to win. Then you also have to add in Selfmade, probably by the way he's been playing with Nemesis and Nisqy so far, and even when I saw him on SK Gaming when he played with Pyrian, he seems to have this like inherent in this innate ability where if he feels like you can't really take over a game, then he's just not gonna play through you. But is that necessarily gonna be a problem for them? Is it? Because, I mean, you could argue it two different ways, because you have one player who doesn't really think you're able to carry the game. The other guy is a stable player who, could obviously play through his jungler. It's not going the other way. Selfmade is completely so hard carry that he doesn't play through mid at all. Like, I barely saw him mid all split long. And this is a consistent thing I've seen with Selfmade. Pyrian, I saw some of the Mad Lions games he had in the past with Nemesis again, and now Nisqy. So hopefully, if they realize Selfmade is not going to be a stability jungler like someone like Santorin, I just don't think he will be. I think they're going to be a lot stronger of a team, if they just realize what type of jungler they have, and playing through him is going to be their best shot at winning. Now, Bwipo as a player, I mean, if you tell any Fnatic fan he's bad, they just rag down your throat. If you tell people he's good, they call you stupid. So
he is kind of definitely, and this is something even his coaching staff has come out and said. Bwipo's a very feast or famine player, where he'll either get ridiculously ahead or
that Riven game was beautiful.
Fall far behind.
That Riven game was so good.
Well, I mean, you got the Riven game, and then on the same token, you have the Yone game.
Yeah,
which are two very different coins. Because I started doing some research into into our all team rosters, because we were doing that tonight. But if we're doing that next week, even better.
I'm gonna need some more time.
Bwipo,
this split was
Bwipo
crazy.
In EU. Here's some fun stats about Bwipo. He has the highest average kills of all top laners in the league. He has the highest average deaths of all top laners in the league.
That's usually how that balances out. I knew it.
He has the most solo kills in all of LEC. And has the highest kill share of all top laners.
Okay. Just admit he's going to be your first place all-pro top laner.
No, because he's not. I'll spoil it right now.
No.
Spoil it right now.
No.
Bwipo is not number 1. Bwipo is number 2. I have someone above
Bwipo. Number 2. Okay, that's still pretty far. But I mean, to be fair, this split for top laners, I mean, you're over here shopping at a fucking thrift store over here.
There are literally 4 top laners of note this. Okay, maybe 5, depending on one. How you view it.
It's just like... I think people generally, because when they talk about the game, they understand it. It's such a really, really blind, like, how do I say it without sounding mean? Because I traditionally don't really sound mean, but it might be kind of harsh to some people. Some of you guys don't really understand how to play the game. And it shows about your conversation where you're talking about, well, he's just coin flippy. No. You have to explain to me what you mean by that. Because if you're talking about coin flippy in the way that he's trying to bluff every single lane, that could be coin flippy. I can understand that. But in terms of, like, if you're not being aggressive, if you're trying to tell a player like Bwipo to play passive, that's not going to be him,
No.
But that doesn't excuse bad gameplay either. Like,
what was it we just said 10 minutes ago? Context matters.
Context matters. Wait, throw that shit out the window. What the hell? It's just more like telling Bwipo to play passive is like telling the water not to be wet. It's just not going to happen. Though I do admit, he has played badly this split to a certain point. Though is it to a certain point where, it's super detrimental toward his team? I mean, to be fair, if he wasn't playing this way, I don't know what type of style the team would have, honestly, because people have to look at it from this point of view. If a player is not doing something to put your team in an advantageous position, then you're really not going to get.
Then what are they doing?
Yeah,
they're either being like just so middle of the road that they don't have an impact on the game, or they're like actively doing the team a disservice.
Or you're just fucking Lebrov.
Yeah, and I think some of this comes from with the armchair analyst. It comes from the top lane is an island meme. Just like top laners should be self-sufficient. Not always the case. Some teams like. When we get to talking about Schalke, are a top-focused team.
We're going to talk about them? Holy crap. Yeah, I don't really have hope for them in playoffs. I was going to be completely honest here for anybody that is their fan. They really... man, or what even start? Okay, so I'm going to... oh my god,
I mean,
so bad. Bro,
props to Schalke.
Streak. They had a
props to Schalke. 7. No, it was 7.
It was 7?
It was a 7-game losing... It was a 7-game losing streak, and they ended the split on, believe it or not, a 4-game winning streak.
Okay. So they're inconsistent.
No, they're consistently inconsistent.
There you go.
I think this is the most fucking streaky team in the LEC this year. Because before they hit that 7-loss slump, they were on like a 4 or 5-game winning streak right before that.
So they defeated Excel, Vitality, and they also defeated Fnatic. So if you discount Fnatic because of the whole coronavirus situation, then they really only beat 2 teams. And
yeah,
those teams were some of the worst in the league. Worst Excel in quotation because, they did take down Rogue and G2 before they faced Schalke. So
yeah,
I just don't really think. I mean, it's not like they're a terrible team. I don't know people thinking that I think that. It's not like they're terrible. You just really can't predict for them. They are just so inconsistent. If they hadn't faced those weak teams to get their confidence back, they probably would have just ended the whole split just consistently losing.
They were dangerously close to potentially being a 7th place team at the end of this. Like,
yeah,
there is a world I could see where Misfits is in the playoffs instead of Schalke. And I'm curious to see what the future holds for Schalke, especially with that news a couple weeks ago where it's like we may or may not be selling our LEC spot. So,
man, it's just one of those things where it's like I just hope they fix their mentality. I think it's not even just a mentality thing, because I feel like sometimes that's even an excuse in and of itself. I just don't think that they're generally going to be able to figure out a play style that's consistently good enough to work on to actually make it a run into playoffs. Like, you don't really think this team is going to win playoffs, do you?
This particular team, no.
No.
Maybe top 4. I mean,
they won't be, because they're facing G2 first in the winners bracket.
Well, yeah,
after,
but were they rated 4th place? They were ranked 4th.
That's a 4th place. You probably put in the quotations right there.
Yeah, so technically, because I'm just thinking about how LEC seeds the losers bracket. So regardless, if Schalke loses, they would play the winner of SK Fnatic. Is how playoffs would work.
Okay. Outside of Schalke, guys, you had Mad Lions. Oh, Mad Lions are really interesting. So,
Mad Lions only played 2 games this week. I don't want to talk about the third
one. That's true. I was like, okay, they just don't give a shit. Kaiser's up here playing top Nocturne. Please, let's just stop.
It's funny because like I said, I was doing research for All Pro. If you go on like Leaguepedia and Oracle's Elixir, it actually lists each Mad Lions player played 1 game in an off role. So you'll look at like stats where in some ways it's like, oh my god, Kaiser has the highest stats in 80 carries because he played 1 fucking game of like Senna or something.
Jeez. Okay. So,
oh my god.
All right. So I think we talked about Mad Lions a lot in the past shows. So I don't really know how to rank them. Like, I generally thought Armit has been an improvement over Arome. Congrats.
You got Armit's been good, yep.
Pretty solid top laner there. Their jungler, Aloye, either he runs the game over or he flips it for you. Inconsistent. He's still a rookie, quote unquote.
I wouldn't say he flips it. I say it's either he has an impact or he doesn't. Like, he either gets a lead or gets someone a lead.
If he's on niche picks, like if he's on niche picks like Kane, you could really see like, okay, I saw why they got this guy. He's got a really high ceiling on certain champions. Then you see this guy play fucking something like Lillian, Rose dudes. I don't know. Like, this team is like high variance, low variance, high reward. What's a high risk, low reward, right? High risk, high reward, something like that, right? They're what I feel like a scale team. They're like a scale team. Like, when they look good, they look great. When they look bad, they look pretty bad. Like, those losses they had earlier on were horrendous, dude. But I don't think they're truly bad, though. That's my issue with them. I don't know how to rank them. Like, how do you rank a team like this? Because they're Humanoid tries so much in their games to be impactful, right? Like, you could literally see it. He's side laning. Bro's picking Rise almost every other game. Getting in side lanes. Just trying to split push to win. Kaiser and Karzi and Kaiser. Pretty good bot lane still. Then you're their top side. Completely unaware of what the whole team's doing. But then when they're on the whole page with their composition, they look pretty good, right?
It's great. Yep. And I will say, I did call last week Mad Lions beat G2, so props to me.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This man's over here taking... Hey, I taught you well. Small victories can lead you to being more believable. That's what I did earlier on, for my predictions. You make those little small victories, they plan out the big ones. But, I think Mad Lions are a solid team. I think they need a little bit more work with their new top side, but I don't think they're a terrible team. I think that they need to buckle down on what their top side is doing. Kind of like how they had last year with Shadow and Arome. They knew what those players were about, so they bought all into that. This year, it doesn't really feel like they've really kind of understood what their top side is bringing, but they understand what their mid side is bringing. They feel like a version of Cloud9 from the past, where like the mid side would be pretty generally solid, while the top side is just, hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we're gonna look pretty fucking bad. And the last two teams. Let's start with Rogue. Rogue definitely has improved. I think moving into the future, Rogue is going to be a team that will challenge G2 and Fnatic. Not right now, because you're starting to get your ass smacked around in this season, because G2's got to win 6 trophies. hey, I got the new G2 flag coming in, you guys, so it's going to be on that wall over there. I got the other flag right there. Whew.
Does G2 really need another trophy? They already have like 10.
You gotta be like, what's that one dude where he had the NBA meme where he had all the trophies just stacked? These are all mine.
I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Give me one sec. So Rogue, I think the issue with Rogue that I have is just a support player. Pretty much the latest I got.
Yeah,
Trimby sucks, dude. Don't even kind of fret. Trimby sucks. That guy's terrible.
To an extent, there was some like bot gap, like just
some
lane,
yeah, dude. There was the game against Fnatic. This dude, his level 4 is Gragas, eat in through a barrel, just in minions. What, dude? This guy is terrible. Rogue, you did great. You did great.
Was that against Fnatic or was that against G2?
Was that against Fnatic? It was against G2 or Fnatic.
I don't think it was against Fnatic.
No, because it was against Fnatic, because remember, Upset played Jhin or Reckless played Jhin. Doesn't matter. Trimby is just not good.
It was, yeah. Stage fright. I mean, he is literally on a team with 4 of.
They're inside of a house.
Well, okay, I say stage fright, but I mean like being on the big leagues, like rookie stage fright, because he's literally on a team with 4 of the best caliber players the LEC has right now.
Yeah, so
he's trying to match that level.
He's basically on a team that can challenge G2, but he's the reason why they can't challenge G2. That's crazy. They actually have a good amount of players on their roster. I think they played pretty fine throughout the split. The games they lost were to G2, and they did lose a few games here or there to, other teams. Like I'm pretty sure they lost to Fnatic once, and I'm pretty sure that they lost to Mad Lions.
To Fnatic.
They lost to Fnatic. They lost to G2 twice, right?
Mad Lions. G2 twice. They lost to XL and they lost to Schalke.
Okay. So overall, I think they played fine this split. They definitely took what the players that they had. They definitely looked at what they had at Worlds 2020. They definitely took it and brought it back in. They upgraded their top lane. They definitely worked on things that they needed to work on, being proactive around the map, making sure that your mid jungle is actually working in sync. It's going to be really hard to who's going to be the MVP, because of if you just take out treats, if you just isolate treats, the MVP would come from either Rogue or it would come from, I guess G2, but like, to be fair, it's not that anybody on G2 this split in particular could be an MVP. The issue here is it going to be Fnatic? It's not Fnatic. Is it going to be Reckless or Caps? Or is it going to be Inspired or Larson? Is it going to be Treats? Or even Broken Blade is in the conversation. Broken Blade's been fucking amazing, honestly, for Schalke. So, looking at Rogue, I think that if they definitely want to challenge G2, the issue here is what will they be offering differently? Because in their bot lane, I don't think Hansama's bad, but Hansama and Trimby are such a... How would I say this? Trimby and Hansama are just way worse than Reckless and Mickey X, to a point where even if Rogue's top side was super dominant, it doesn't matter, because we've seen games where the bot lane, the games that they did lose, it was just hard bot gap. Might be because Trimby's a rookie. Might be because Hansama and Trimby just aren't on the same page with certain things. That's just my thing with Rogue. Other than that, they play fantastic. They look really super solid. Their drafts were disgusting this past weekend against Fnatic. That Gnar composition that they had, oh my god, the Udyrs, Baron Steel, when they were 4v5, whew, it was beautiful. Hugs for Rogue. No.
No,
like,
I'm yeah.
Casually runs away.
Rogue's a really good team. I think that they definitely improved. Bringing in Oldawamne was a really great choice. I think Trimby, it was an investment pick. It was like, we think it's going to work out. He did really well for us last year on our academy team. He deserves the spot, but I don't think he's like it connected well. I do think what Freddie and the Rogue back office are doing is really smart. I think they could potentially win coaching staff of the split, which I'd be cool with that. And then at least Freddie 122 could say he won something.
His man's just over here just throwing a whole bunch of shade, but it's true. He's starting to rub off on me.
I'm interested
a little bit of the G2 banter is running off on him now. Can I get some more G2 on you? Throw on that side.
Thanks. Let me know next time you need one of our players, and then you can win another trophy.
Hey, you're our academy team. Just let that sink in.
Yeah, let's just take that Ender video, that meme video he did, and just superimpose it over this entire fucking conversation.
And G2 Esports finishing the split 14-4. Honestly, there was they're definitely the best team by far. Their wins or smashes, they were pretty much flipping it. No one can deny this to me. They were flipping it this week. They played so bad in those 2 games. No one's gonna do. I'm not some G2 fan where it's
Yankos played really bad.
Oh god, dude. The losses, they almost broke my heart because they were played so bad.
I don't know who was like playing Intit worse, if it was Yankos or Wonder, but they both had really off weekends, and I don't know if this is just like they're already in first, so they don't care. But it's funny that the one game that they did win this weekend, SK, kind of locked Fnatic into 5th place. There was a meme that Vedius put out where it's like kind of like one of those Yankos and his coach memes. It's like, Yankos, I'm gonna run it down, and the coach is like, no, don't do that. And Yankos like, no, I'm gonna run it down, and they're like, but if you lose to SK, Fnatic gets 4th, and then you just see this gif of Yankos with a shotgun, just be like, okay, nope, I'm putting my big boy pants on.
Dude, it was just one of those things where people gotta realize this. They were already locked in the first place. If they want to try some shit out, doesn't matter, honestly, at the end of the day. But don't use that later on as an excuse where they don't try shit in world semifinals. I'll never believe that, because that's retarded. They don't try. You shouldn't be trying shit, because that's what the fans like to use as an excuse. I love G2. I think G2 are awesome. But the issue here is, I don't really know. I guess they just have this monopoly over the league where they can pretty much just do whatever they want now. They're just the kings. The rightful kings of Europe. I put a crown on my head.
I'm just going to make this early call. I don't think summer is going to be as large of a gap. As large of a gap. Because if you realize, the difference between first place and, 6th place this season was 6 wins. G2 was at 14-4. SK was at 8-10. I don't think the gap is going to be that huge come summer. Once some of these rosters start to gel out, Fnatic gets a little more comfortable, Mad Lions gets a little more comfortable, maybe Schalke figures some shit out, or Misfits and Excel, do like some hyperbolic time chamber shit. Hell, even the difference between first place and third place was 4 wins. That's actually a lot in an 18 games season. I don't predict it being this huge of a lead in summer.
No, I just think the issue here with G2 was that I guess they were like, all right, we locked first place. Wonder, go be on Jace, and then go be on Sion. The trained Sion that went 0-8. Holy fuck, that was a
fun game to watch. That was a funny game to watch.
Even when G2 locks first, they still make it fun for the viewer to watch. But other than that, as you guys know, this week coming up, there will be no LEC. It'll come back next week for the LEC 2021 Spring Split Playoffs. And before that actually happens that week, me and T-Root will have our first place, second place, and third place LEC 2020 Spring Split All-Pro teams, most improved player, and most valuable player as well. So it's going to be an interesting thing as well. Anybody that has watched this video all the way through, thank you guys for supporting, watching, liking all of the videos. More than happy to do it for you guys as well. And if you guys are watching this video, I will be covering the LCS 2021 Spring Split week 1 through 6, obviously all in one go. The reason why I wasn't able to do that like this show, obviously, that I normally would have did for LCS, like I did in, obviously, the previous splits, I was just really busy. I'm so busy in my general days. It's just how it goes. So I'll have the video out for you guys, and then later on this week, since there's no LEC until next week, it's going to be mostly all LCS focused content. You guys will be getting the LCS 2021 Spring Split thoughts and opinions, weeks 1 through 6, the playoff predictions, and you guys will also be getting the G2 and C9 Fancast all this week. So a bunch of LCS content. And Root's a Dig fan, so he wants Dig to win. Hopefully Dig can win.
Hey, Dig.
Dig NA, right?
Oh yeah, Dig top 4.
Dig top 4. If Dig make top 4, I'm throwing myself out a fucking window. I'm calling it right now. Just actually going for the window.
Like I was talking to Warren and S the other day, if TSM ends up against Dig, I could see Dig beating TSM 3-2.
They would be sick. They'd be 5-2 against TSM during the split if that happened. Holy shit. That'd be nuts, man.
Right. Yeah, I mean, shit. Even just the fact that, if it's a straight 3-0, like that'll be so hype going into summer where it's
man.
The only team TSM can't beat is Dignitas.
Oh my god, dude. But other than that, guys, so prepare for a full week of LCS content. It's been a blast for the LEC. I always have a blast watching it. I might not agree with all the casters' opinions, but, that's par for the course. They don't put them there for you to agree with them, And as always, there's not much else to really say and go over. For anybody that wants us to talk about LEC more, just watch this. That's it. I actually talk about the LEC a lot. Most people don't realize how much they really talk about the LEC when you're talking about G2 and Fnatic this much. It's just that, on it's not even C9 Fancast is not really just for NA. It's just, the people that come there mostly only watch NA. It's part of the course, But, we do have people on, that show that can talk about LEC, LPL, and LCK. And that's fine if you guys want that more brought on, then we can definitely do that. And that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to say, man, before we do this next week?
No, I'm excited to, just keep talking LEC. It's definitely something I look forward to, and I hope that your fans enjoy listening to us talk about it as well.
And I can't wait till Fnatic loses in playoffs again. Ah, man. The sweet joy of Fnatic losing just makes my black heart get a little bit more lighter inside. Oh yeah, Rebecca, another big Fnatic fan, she wanted us to talk more about Fnatic's issues to split. So, okay, so Rebecca, if you watch this, if you got to this far in the video, let's see. Let me bring up a Fnatic game, because I'm really going to need some context. So I'm not going to count this week, actually, because that's unfair to count that for this week. So if I just put that, if I just genuinely put that exception right there.
Yeah, sure.
Let me go and bring up one of their games. Let's go to a league highlight video. It doesn't really fucking matter, honestly. All right. Okay. So let me bring up week 7 for Fnatic. All right, week 7. They faced. Okay, so week 8. Okay, no. Let's go further down. This week 8. No, it's week 8. Let's go to week 7. So if you discount week 8 because issues with coronavirus and players, they faced SK Gaming, and they definitely faced off against Excel. So they went 2-0 this week, actually. But I'm trying to find some of their losses, actually. Let me find their losses. So
go to the week before.
Prior. Yeah, that's what the G2 games, right?
Yeah, that was the big G2 loss.
There's the big G2 loss, and then you also...
Or even the week before that, in week 5 when they lost to Mad Lions. Either of those.
Oh, you're right. They did lose to Mad Lions. Okay, Astralis, Mad Lion. So, okay, here we go. So we have the Fnatic losses right here. I'm just looking at them right now. So it seems like Fnatic also, it's not that they're I would say predictable in draft, because you really can't predict for them. Honestly, they're
right.
Out here first picking Yon and shit. You can't predict for that.
Shout out to Tolkien. He says he's not afraid to, pass off solo queue builds to his players and be like, hey, I tested this. This is a build that has like an 80% win rate in solo queue. I tried it over 10 games. Here are my results. Is this something you would feel comfortable practicing?
Here's my thing with Fnatic so far. So, barring this week, obviously, it looks like...
Big asterisk.
Big asterisk, true. Because I'm being really generous here, too. So... barring what I just said. So, when I look at how Fnatic has been drafting over the split, over the course of this, LEC 2021 spring split, how the fuck do they have a Azir, Kalista, and Alistar dive a Gragas, and all three of them die? Come on, like, that's just unacceptable. And if that is what I would call a, communication issue. That's just a communication issue.
Okay, well, if it's the same dive I'm talking about, because I can picture that one in my head. I don't remember Azir joining in on the dive. I think he came into the fight after the dive.
He TP'd in, yeah.
But that was actually... because if you watch this closely, and I watched a replay of this, Alistar died, unfortunately. They just dived it a little too early. Alistar was tanking turret shots. And they would have killed Wonder if he didn't body slam away from Upset and got out of range of the Ren. Like, he got out of range of Kalista W, and that's how he survived.
Okay.
So it was... I think it was less a failed dive and more Wonder positioning
just being a
correctly.
Fucking mechanical god.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I remember the play you're talking about, and yeah,
okay.
it was definitely questionable. Maybe a little too early. Like,
if they definitely didn't account for the Gragas barrel knocking out the minions, but then again, most people don't do that. Most people just honestly hit the champion. So that one, if you discount that, that's okay. But it's not. I'm not making an excuse. The issue here is that when you're doing the type of dive, let's say Fnatic go to Worlds 2021, you can't do that. You can't. You can't have three people die to that. That's just unacceptable. Now, the Fnatic drafts in the past have generally always, in my own personal opinion, been like pre-prepped. So what I'm trying to say is, it looks like they already know what they're gonna draft, what they're gonna ban before they even start the game. This year, in particular, it just really feels like they draft according to what they feel personally can go in their own playstyle, which isn't really a team-focused thing. They're not really... It really just feel like when they're playing, and then when they lock in a champion, they're picking it specifically for themselves to look, I guess, a certain way. But you're also not accounting into, does this fit in a team atmosphere? Because when I'm looking at some of their drafts and their compositions, none of them look bad. But then again, I'm trying to look at, like, where's the win con in this G2 game? Where's the win con at? Yone, Lillian, Azir, Kalista, Alistar. Where's the win con in that? Are they just picking to just stop lane? Well, if this is just pick to stop lane, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I do think there's an element of, you'll hear people talk about best of ones versus best of threes. I think this is Fnatic, like, keeping their drafts flexible in order to have variations in their best of ones, so they don't become overly predictable. Or it's like, oh, we're up against SK, just ban Kalista, and then Jezu's kind of useless. Or, oh, we're up against Schalke, let's throw 3 bans at Broken Blade, and then he can't really do anything.
Like,
I think this is their...
Ooh, I just saw this right now. In the G2 game, if you go to 22 minutes in game time, Niski dies to a Gragas with flash up. Like, you just can't be doing that.
I don't know. I mean... I feel like, there's definitely some background context that we want to understand, like, what are comms like, or what was the practice like going into that week. I mean, hell, Jankos just really kind of popped off. I mean, there was definitely that one moment where he like 2v1'd Azir and Lilia, just kind of just straight, like, he turned a 2v1, and it was just a well-timed ult to stop the Azir wall from bumping him. So it was a that game specifically was very hairy. They had a very slim win margin, especially with the way that Jankos kind of camped and got the Yone shut down. I mean, he was able to do some damage. It was a pretty good team fight where he got a double kill about like 25 or 26 minutes in at the Dragon Pit. But you know, you can only do so much when you're that far behind.
Even during the G2 game, if you go to like 23 minutes in, they all three die to an Olaf.
Mm-hmm.
Without even baiting his ultimate. They get killed from Jankos in his ultimate. You have an Azir and a Yone.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
What the actual hell? Like, some of the games are actually just running. Some of the games are actually just running it down. Like, this is just it's just inexcusable. Like, I really don't know what's going on through their brains. Like, and this is just basic shit. If you want to kill a champion more effectively, you poke them out, you force them to use their ultimate, depending on the champion, then you just go and kill them. How would a Yone and an Azir lose to an Olaf? What the hell? It's just like, I think definitely they also need to kind of figure out you don't have to secure on this playstyle. You have to be centered on a playstyle that works. You know, something like there was never a time during the split where I really thought from them. I got to myself and thought they really have a playstyle. They don't really have one, and that's not good, because people said, oh, they're developing it. That's, I mean, okay, but they still don't have one. You know, if you don't have a playstyle, then they're just a coin flip team. That's kind of what that is, though. That's just what it is, though. They're just a coin flip team in terms of what they're going to play on the day. You can't predict for them.
Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, that's kind of been the playstyle that they talk about, or Yamato can talk about, where it's like, we're going to be a team fight based team that tries to push pressure in lane, which I think is kind of true when you have Whippo has the most solo kills and Upset and Hylissang have the most 2v2 kills.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are really good laning teams. They're really good team fighting teams. I just feel that sometimes they get a little too over aggressive and then they put themselves in a deficit, at which point they're either not good from playing from behind, or they try not to let the deficit get to them, where it's like, we may only be 3k behind, but we can still take this fight.
There was the earlier game that split with Mad Lions too, remember? Where it was I think one of them was on Aurelia. It was no, Carzzy was on like Xayah, and like I think Nisqy was on Aurelia, and he was coming back into the game, and that they consistently just kept like team fighting through a loss. No picks, no side laning.
That was the first Mad Lions versus Fnatic. But I mean, granted, Nisqy had a really good start that game where he got like a 2v1 kill or something, or he did some. There was a really good highlight play of him on his Aurelia, where he did well. But it was a team fight where Hylissang kind of overtook jumped in too early, and it cost him the game. But then if you look at the second Mad Lions game, where there was that 5v5 fight at Dragon Pit, where it looked like Fnatic were just going to get 5-0 wiped, but then Upset comes in and starts just killing their backline and gets like a triple kill. So it was like a 3-for-3 or a 3-for-4. So they have some really good mechanics when it comes to team fighting. I just think the timing is where they're losing out on. Like, Selfmade goes in early, or Hylissang goes in early.
A lot of out of sync plays. Like in the G2 game, why is Whippo flashing down from a TP from Nisqy instead of a flashing upwards? And you shouldn't be flashing down anyway. That's gonna kill you. If you want to save yourself and have a chance to be more alive later on, you flash away. It's just little things like that put them in a tier lower than Rogue. I feel like if they have the caliber of players to fix these issues, and I think if they do, they could eventually, challenge Rogue for that second place spot. But until they fix these issues, it's like, I just really can't buy into it so far. Now, do I think they have this inherent ability to play better during the playoffs? Like, sure, but you have to call things for what they are right now. I know they play better in playoffs. I know that, but yeah, you have to call things for what they are in the moment of seeing them. I think you have to play off strengths. They're not really too sure what strengths they want to play off of. And the reason why we're focusing on Fnatic this much is because, well, I put them at second place in split, so I'm going to be very, very disappointed when they're at fifth. It's a little bit of a...
I put them at first. I power ranked them first because I thought this was going to be a really good team. And
in some ways it was.
It is a really good team, yeah.
In some ways it was.
It's just inconsistently good.
In some ways, these are I think the correct players for Fnatic. I think Upset is a perfect player for them. I think Selfmade is the perfect player for them. I think they have the right players for what they needed last year. There just needs to be some refinement here, you know? And it's just more like when you're drafting Selfmade Lillian, Selfmade looks really good on hard carry junglers like Hecarim, Udyr, you know, Nidalee, and things like Evelynn, right? I don't think he looks particularly pretty good on Olaf or Lillian in some games. His Lillian games look like trash, honestly. Bwipo, you know, he's calling Selfmade too much. We know they had their little thing where, you know, Bwipo didn't want him on the team because of he didn't think he was going to be able to conform to him. It's a bunch of other bullshit, right? So when you're looking at potentially calls being split, draft looking pretty suspect in certain areas, teammates on the same page, you know, that's how you get them at 5th place. But you don't get them at 5th place to a certain extent without having good players too. They have good players. So I'm pretty sure everyone can see the type of ceiling they have. It's all about getting to that ceiling. Now, will this ceiling be shown in SK Gaming's playoff match next week? We'll see. We'll definitely see. I think they might be a better best of 5 team than best of 1 team too. And that could very well be it too. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Fnatic just.
I remember that.
Just clean. Yeah, Fnatic are gonna clean 3-0 SK, and then it'll just kind of be like how the rest of the bracket goes. I'd like to see them win the split. If they don't, I can live with that. And I just want to see improvements in summer.
He won't be here.
I want to see at least...
He won't be here for the shows next summer, guys. I'm gone, guys. He has moved to Europe to coach Fnatic.
Yeah, I just... Let's see them get above 500 in summer, and I will say it's an improvement.
That's pretty much it. You know, there was a subscriber who was really nice. She asked if we could talk more in depth about them. Those are pretty much just my initial thoughts of them. These are things that I've, you know, kept thinking over and over again, because when people think I talk, they think I'm just like spitting some bullshit or emotion. No, I've thought about these things, guys. It's not emotional to talk about something you can clearly see with your own eyes. You can clearly see with your own eyes they're not playing on the same page. They're just not. I don't need, you know, I don't have to have, you know, sunglasses on to tell me that, but other than that, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe, most of all, enjoy. I'm the Nightwing, Way of Life Esports. Signing out, guys. Peace. Have a good day. And we will be back here next week for our LEC 2021 Spring Split regular season awards. And then we'll move on into playoffs, because it's crazy. We're going to be at MSI very, very soon. Can't wait to have these regions done. But, you know, as I said before, going to be doing some more focused content on LCS and LEC. That way, you know, the content is focused towards one direction. If you guys do ever see, you know, videos for like LCK or LPL, just do make sure to obviously like them. And also this video, make sure you like the video. That way it gets promoted more in the YouTube algorithm. That's how it works. Anything else, man, for any of the Fnatic fans out there that, you know, definitely do a lot of flaming?
No, I mean, you know, Fnatic's been in worse positions, actually. Went ahead and checked. The worst Fnatic has actually been the 6th seed going into playoffs before.
Holy shit!
So this is not their worst regular season performance. No, I mean, you know, Fnatic fans hold true, keep strong, and I doubt we'll miss Worlds. So even if we don't win playoffs this split, there's still summer. There's still Worlds. We got this.
Fnatic has always gone out of groups at Worlds. That's always been a thing. Right? Oh no, 2014.
No.
2014 they didn't get out. That's true.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say 2014 no, 2015 yes, 2016
they
didn't even go to Worlds. And then yeah, they've gotten out of groups every year.
Yeah, they only missed it one time.
Because 2017 was that really cool year where they won 2 tiebreakers to make it into
oh my God.
To make it into the bracket stage.
Going down that fucking
2018.
That
2018 was World Finals.
Bro, that Immortals Thor was out of this world, that game. I was like, the solar system can't be gapped enough.
Do you know the story behind that? Behind the IMT thing, that Worlds?
Oh, dude, we watched it live at a friend's house. I remember.
No, not the game, the background as to why they played that badly.
For IMT? Did they finally ever review that? I thought they were just all playing like dog shit.
At Worlds 2017, Immortals was kind of, some people thought was going to be the second place team in their group.
Yeah, I had them power ranked out.
Now, around the same time, after week 1 going into week 2, there was a leaked announcement that Immortals would not be given a spot for franchising come 2018.
Okay. I remember the story.
So
Yeah, now
there was a rumor that weekend after the first week of groups games, Immortals just went out and partied. A couple of the guys got hella drunk, and their practice was just fucked up that entire week before the second set of group stage games, which is why they did so poorly and ended up in this weird this weird tiebreaker situation, in which I think they technically got last in the group. Otherwise, and this is the 2017 Immortals team. It was like Flame, Xsmithy, I think Pobelter, Cody Sun, and Olay.
Riot made a really bad call, because that was around the period where Immortals were like the new guy in the LCS. They were like the bad boys. They were like the third, the team that was challenging TSM, Cloud9, and CLG at the time were the top 3 teams. And Immortals came in. They were pretty good, actually. They had the one bad split at the time with Dark, where they did make playoffs.
This isn't 2016 IMT that had Cooney, Rainover, Pobe, Adrian, and Turtle.
That LCS.
This is the one after that.
It was the LCS 2017 spring split. They had Dark. They didn't make playoffs. They went 7-7, and then you had
they traded Dardoch for Smithy, and then almost got like second place in regular season and like third place in the post or something.
It didn't make sense that they did that, because at the moment in time, I thought IMT would be a team you keep. They said it was due to like financials and other bullshit, but you're keeping FlyQuest and Echo Fox. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what the hell?
Okay, hey, Echo Fox, I can understand. FlyQuest back then was a question mark.
And guys, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. I'm the Nightwing. Way of Life Esports is signing out, guys. Peace. Have a good day. And oh my god, I'm never ever watching that IMT versus Fnatic game again. The fact that Fnatic almost lost to that is insane. Holy shit, they were running at that game. Oh my god, Flame dope 4 people as a Maokai. See you guys later. Peace. Go watch the game and actually try to gouge your eyes out. Peace out, guys. See you later. Good night.